A streetlight flickered in the dark residential street as its inhabitants slept soundly behind closed curtains and drawn blinds. The old Victorian houses stood silent, 2 militant rows lining the long, straight road, their red bricks dimmed to a bruised grey in the moonlight. Somewhere in the distance a cat shrieked, the sound carrying through the air in the unusually quiet hour. It was a reliable logic that explained London's quietest hour. Up until 2 a.m. the city was still crawling with people out for a good time, those still young enough to not need 8 solid hours of sleep to function the next day. After 4 a.m. the roads would begin to busy with trucks and delivery drivers. A little later, runners and cyclists, the disciplined early risers of the world, would trickle out onto the paths. But at 3 a.m., for the most part, the city was empty, the only people lurking in the quiet, those who were up to no good. Those who thrived in the darkness and wanted no witnesses. Hidden in the shadow of a large tree, a man leaned against the trunk, his brooding gaze trained on the house across the street. There was nothing special about it, other than being a corner house connecting to a side road to the main street. It was the same as all the others. The front door opened straight onto the pavement, with 1 window beside it and 2 above. The same moss-covered tiles blanketed the roof, and the same black guttering framed its edges. But still the man stared, his intense gaze slowly roaming over each brick, with a strange and dark fascination. The fractured tinkling of broken glass cut through the silence, and his eyes darted to the side, his expression alert and his stance tense. Several minutes passed and nothing happened, but still he stared into the darkness, waiting for something. Dragging his gaze away briefly, he pulled back his black leather glove and checked his watch, before swearing under his breath. With a quick glance down the deserted road, he stepped off the pavement and started towards the house. But as he moved, a long shadow suddenly stretched out from the side road. He paused and tensed, peering into the darkness, but as the man attached to the shadow came into view, he instantly relaxed. They met silently in the middle of the street, then moved together to the front door. "It was more secure than I'd anticipated," the other man whispered. "You fitted them up okay, though?" he checked, glancing back over his shoulder. The reply was a swift nod. "You ready?" "I've never been more ready for anything in my life," he growled. Unzipping his dark jacket, he pulled something out of the inside pocket. The sharp, acrid smell of petrol filled the air the moment he unwrapped the carefully sealed bag, becoming stronger as he fished out the soaked rags inside. Beside him, the other man produced a sheet of bubble wrap and, holding the letterbox open with one hand, spread it around the edges, creating a protective funnel. Careful not to let any of the potent liquid touch the door in any way, he pushed the rags through, and they dropped with a dull thud onto the floor inside. The bubble wrap was pulled away and cast aside into the road. "How long?" he asked. 2 minutes, came the whispered response. "Maybe 3 for the bigger ones." He nodded. "Move back,"